up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's talk about it. Oh. Woo. Yeah, we were letting out a lot at the range, man. We was letting stuff go. It was looking like John Wick for real. Errol Spence Jr., in case you guys haven't found out or heard, Errol Spence Jr. is under medical supervision, or medical suspension, actually. It's no surprise. I mean, from the amount of punishment he took, it's exactly the amount of days as I said. When he went under the medical tent, he passed, no problems. So he didn't have any neurological damage, as some doctor's been trying to get a lot of people revved up, just automatically saying. He's under medical suspension because that's what happens when you get knocked out. In boxing, when you take a punch and get knocked out like he did, going under medical suspension is key. Well, see, the thing is, he can train. That's not a problem. When you're under medical suspension, you can't train in a boxing gym. Like, he can lift weights. He's not allowed to have contact, like be in the ring sparring. Now, as far as weight training and things like that, sure. But you can't do it inside of a boxing gym. And most definitely, you're not going to be able to do that No, you're gonna be Magnism. It don't work that way. Normally you're under medical suspension all the time. Like, people just don't know that. You're under medical suspension. You know, it's not a big deal, but people are under medical suspension like every time there's a boxing match and you get knocked out, you're under suspension. Deontay Wilder was under medical suspension. When Tyson's Fury knocked him out, he was on 60-day medical suspension. When you take the kind of punishment he did and get knocked down 3 times, you're going to probably be under medical suspension. This is to prevent people from coming back in the ring too soon. Hence why you saw Roy Jones get knocked out by Glenn. Remember, after getting knocked out by Roy Jones, he came right in and fought Glenn, who's a pressure fighter, not normally a big knockout puncher. And Glenn caught Roy Jones and knocked Roy Jones right back out. Because Roy Jones should have been under medical suspension. But they said he only took 1 shot against Tarver, really. And he was out. But he should have been under medical suspension. And they put the fight together too quick. And he was right back in there with Glenn Johnson, and we saw what happened. So they don't want people to get back in the ring too soon after taking a beating. Like the sparring and all this stuff. So they want them to be out of the ring and not take further damage. Yeah, Q Lee. You mysteriously go on vacation when you gotta pay me money. I tried to save you, Q Lee. You the only one that ain't paid. But the thing is, like, man, you broke out. Felix Trinidad would have been beat Bernard Hopkins had the fight happened when it was supposed to. He wouldn't have lost to Bernard. The only reason he lost to Bernard Hopkins was because of the 9/11. 9/11 happened. That was it. To Trinidad, he didn't get a chance to train for 2 weeks. He had to be the PR spokesman for New York City, and he's from Puerto Rico. See, a lot of y'all don't remember that. Y'all were probably too young to understand what happened then. That fight was messed up from the jump. It was the first sporting event after the 9/11. I was on a cruise on the Carnival. He said, I sent you a cash app, Cino. All right. All right, well, I'm going to check it out and see if you sent the cash app over. Oh, B-Hop gonna do a bunch of dirty stuff in the fight. That's what he does. But Trinidad, that wouldn't have happened that way. Trinidad was not ready for that fight after the 2 weeks that happened. So that was a whole different situation altogether. You know, his wife just found out Trinidad had another woman having his baby, and he couldn't even go back to Puerto Rico. All flights was canceled, so he was stuck in New York City while his girlfriend in Miami, in Florida, down there in Miami, is pregnant with his child. Trinidad his wife found out about this, and now she's upset and he can't be there to control the situation. So he don't know what's going on back home, except for on the phone. And he got all this going on. Then he's the ambassador of the city. He bought a fire truck and an ambulance for these people. There's no boxing gym for him to train at. He's stuck in New York. Hopkins just said, okay, went back to Philly. Wasn't nothing bothering him. He didn't have to do press. He didn't have to do any of that. Trinidad had to do all of it. I mean, there wasn't no excuses. It's what happened. And I was like, this fight gonna be messed up. I knew going in it was gonna be messed up because I'm like, I'm not sure Trinidad's gonna be ready. Listen to Antonio Tarver, you should have listened to me. That's who you should have listened to. Listen to Antonio Tarver and his people. No, you should have listened to me. That's who you need to listen to. Errol Spence was going to get the brakes beat off of him, and I told you that. It wasn't going to be this wasn't a 50-50 fight. Now, the rematch is coming up in December. So I can see the Errol Spence fans is convincing themselves again, Errol gonna be better at 54. And I'm like, okay. So when they run this back, we gonna see how good Errol is. Oh, Penny, they can fight at 180. He's not gonna beat Terrence Crawford. That's just all to it. He can't beat Terrence Crawford. Some people can do things and certain people can't. Now, beating Terrence Crawford is just not one of the things he's designed to do. His style is tailor-made to get eaten up by Terrence Crawford. Now that you have seen what I already knew was going to happen, he's dinner food. As soon as he stepped in the ring, he was food and didn't even know it. But now he knows he's food. He don't have the confidence in him now. You know what he said? Man, the fight will definitely be a lot closer. That's what he said. They asked him about the rematch. He said the fight would definitely be a lot closer. A lot closer? A lot closer. Not, I'm definitely finna win the next fight, or, nah, it's gonna be closer. That's your mindset? It's trying to not look as bad as you did this time. He's humble. No, he got humble. He got a humbling. That beatdown was the humble. Yeah, he's suspended until the end of September. Medical suspension is not nothing. It doesn't mean that he's mentally damaged, people. He does not have neurological damage. No, it was gonna be 60 days. Had he been knocked out cold or something like that, then they would have warned a 90-day suspension if he had suffered from complications. Just like in the NFL, when you go through a fight like that, they have medical tents. You have to go through the medical tent first. They go to the back, the doctor comes and give you a test. Test your reflexes, they test you in the ring, they test you when you get to the back, and they test your balance, your equilibrium, they ask you to speak. Do you know what date it is? Do you know you've been in a fight? They ask you these things to see where you are mentally. Errol Spence had all his faculties. He showed up to the post-fight. When he spoke, he wasn't like half asleep, about to pass out. Even when they stopped the fight and he went back to the corner, doctor came and saw him. He said he was fine, passed all the tests. He just lost a fight that he couldn't win. But I tried to protect you, Q Lee. I tried to say, don't bet this fight. Don't do it. You're not finna come out the winner. Yeah, I got a blister on my hand. I hate that. It's always happening in the same spot. I pinch my hand every time I slam the clip into the gun. When I slam the clip in there, it always seems to pinch my damn hand. I hate when I do that. No, I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it very differently. Well, he was trying to sell the fight. I knew Errol. Errol is not normally a talker like that. So he's just trying to sell the fight because Bud isn't a big talker. These are two guys that don't talk. You know, they normally like, hey, let's get in the ring and see what happens. But we not talkers. And they're not. Errol isn't a big talker, and neither is Terrence. The rematch, I told you, they're looking at the second week of December. Yeah, December the 9th. That was the date they were looking at. But somebody had to lead the promotion, so they came with this big fish angle, and I'm the big fish, he gonna catch the fish, and I smoke Bud, and everybody was hooked on. So they did what they had to do to sell the fight. Oh, Terrence Crawford? Well, here it is. Terrence Crawford knows what he's up against when he gets in the ring. So he's going to work hard. All the talk, that's just to sell the fight to y'all, to the casuals. Like, I don't need to be sold on the fight. I know the fight I want to see, and this is the fight I wanted to see. Now, everybody, it's going to be harder for me to get the money I got last time. You know, T's starting to come out of it a little bit now. You know, it's been a week. So it's like, he's thinking like, okay, Errol might be ready next time. See, I knew he was going to get like that. So T's starting to come back around to where I can get him. Don't worry, I'm going to stick him again, because when they get close to fight time, he going to want to bet it again. He think Errol gonna make the corrections, and that was just a fluke. He had a bad night. Then he gonna learn. There's levels to this, and the level he's on, Errol ain't at. Yes, that's about all he needed was a 2-month suspension. That was warranted. 2-month suspension. Errol's conditioning was perfect. See, y'all are looking at the wrong things. Errol's conditioning didn't fail him. If he wasn't conditioned, he wouldn't have got up. If he wasn't conditioned, he wouldn't still be there. He wouldn't have still been standing in the 9th round. His conditioning wasn't the problem. There was something that was messing him up, and it was called Terrence Crawford. He the same Errol Spence that fought Ugas. That's the same Errol Spence that fought Danny Garcia. There's nothing wrong with Errol except for Terrence Crawford. That's what y'all keep forgetting. Man, we're gonna do a StreamYard. We're gonna do a StreamYard, not tonight, but tomorrow. And then y'all can get down and call in and get down and get dirty. I don't dislike Errol. I just know what Errol is. Errol's a good fighter. He's not next level. Terrence Crawford, that's next level. That's special. Errol Spence is a good, solid fighter. But see, when you start giving all the accolades to the good fighters and putting them on pedestals, then you start seeing the guys who are better than that. Y'all criticize them and said they haven't fought anybody when they've been protecting everybody and keeping them from Bud Crawford. And we kept telling y'all they keeping Bud away. Y'all these bums away, and y'all rolling behind. No, he's scared of Errol. I'm like, y'all have no idea. How can you not see what's in front of you? These people have been blackballing this man for the last 5 years by they keep letting PBC fight PBC because it's a business for them. So they want to blackball him out of the fights because they know Terrence Crawford is for real. You can't even fool them. The bosses know. They know what he'll do to Danny Garcia. They know what he'll do to Keith Thurman. They know what he gonna do to every little welterweight they got in the PBC. Ain't a welterweight they got that can mess with Terrence Crawford. And Errol was supposed to be their best. And now they bigging up Bouts, another guy who ain't fought nobody. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. Not a diss to Bouts. He just ain't fought nobody yet. But y'all fall for the banana in the tailpipe every time. Because they put it on the screen and they advertise it well. Errol Spence, Danny Garcia. We was like, who asked for that? Nobody, but it's happening. They was like, oh, but that was his tune-up. He had to take that. That was his first fight back since the accident. He made that fight before he got hurt. Danny Garcia came in the ring and they already setting up the fight. I'm like, what about Terrence Crawford? But I give Errol credit because Errol could have ducked that fight and fought Keith Thurman like they wanted him to. They wanted him to fight Keith Thurman. He was like, I want to fight Terrence Crawford. And they was like, nah, we want you to fight Keith Thurman. In the summer, he was like, no, man, I don't want to do that. And then somebody's like, yeah, that might not be a good idea. Because what if Keith Thurman win? Now we screwed. We done messed up the big fight. We can make a big fight with Crawford now because he done left top rank. So let's just make this deal with Crawford. And he was like, yeah, let's make the big money now. We can get a 2-fight deal, set it up, and now we got 2 big major fights. Clarissa Shields versus Thurman. I love Clarissa Shields, but no. Nobody want to see that. Because as soon as Keith Thurman hit her with a hook or a right hand, it's going to be, no, that ain't good. That ain't good. Spence needs to fight Thurman in a tune-up fight. Why would he need to use Keith Thurman as a tune-up? No. Keith Thurman needs to fight Boots Ennis. They need to vacate 147, him and Errol, let Boots and Keith Thurman fight for the belts. That's what need to happen. Let them fight for the belt. Exactly what I said. There's nothing special about his fighting style. Hit the like button, good people. Hit the like button so they can know you're not a bot. What's up, Wes? Canelo will stop Jamel. I don't know if he stops him, but he might drop him late with a body shot. The body shot's going to be too much for him. Jamel's going to be a different fight for him than Jamal. He stands and watch around a little too much. After 6 rounds, he saves it all up. He's not as conditioned as Jamel. Jamel is more conditioned, and he throws better combinations. You saw the interview I did with Samaje Thomas? Samaje Thomas is one of the most explosive fighters in the game. And he's been gone for 4 years. He was 11-8, 11 wins, 8 knockouts. He had 1 loss in his career when he took a fight on national TV that he shouldn't have taken. And he lost by a decision in like a 6-8 round fight. He was starting to come on late. But he learned so much from Derrick James and Jermell Charlo. They took him in. He had Ronnie Shields working with him. To see Sean training now and not fighting, you know, that's almost like heartbreaking to see, because Sean was, you know, the most crisp puncher I've seen in a long time. There's only so much people can do. You know, that's the part people miss. It's only so much people can do. There's so much money to be made on the fight. It's so much money to be made on any fight. No, Keyshawn Davis got to fight somebody else. And those two got to get it on. They just saw each other. So, yeah, those two got to get it on. Not at all, really. If I was to sit there and say that, I would be wrong. But no, I don't think that. I don't think so. In actuality, I don't believe that. Well, if they all stuck with the jab and used the jab the way it's supposed to be, Terrence Crawford showed you how to use a jab. Yep. How are we 2-2? I mean, I rooted for Jamel Herring. I rooted for him because he's a friend of ours. But I knew he was not going to beat Shakur Stevenson, rather. He wasn't going to win that fight. He was at the end of his career. I was rooting for him to win. That's a difference, okay? There's a difference because we know him. So we're rooting for him to win. But knowing somebody else is going to win is different. Right. Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko. Yeah, I took Lomo in that fight. And T.O. won, but the fight was closer than a lot of people thought. All right. No, my hand was messing with me. Oh, right, exactly, Terrence. He just got exposed. When you get exposed, you know, these type of things happen. Jermell Charlo can defeat Bud Crawford? No. Jermell will get stopped because he'll try to muscle Crawford. He'll try to run in and try to prove a point and get himself knocked out. So he'll lose the fight.
What?
He'll lose that fight.
Hey, kid.
What's going on? Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam, man.
Shut up, man.
Gosh.
Shut up, kid.
Yeah, he's a contemporary. Mojo.
Yeah,
Watch Mojo.
sing my song, everybody.
Go to the playlist, dude.
Hey, what up, live stream?
That's right. Tell him, Terrence. We already did the Big L. They late. Yeah, I'm gonna be on D Style Boxing Show tomorrow, so me and D Style will be talking. Oh yes, sir. So now he's staying here.
I never like directly said I was just. What did I say? What time?
Not that long. Stay about an hour.
That's enough time for people.
Well, Dad just got home. He might want to get on the TV.
No, I'm in here.
Yeah, you have TV in your room for these purposes.
Bro, I'm not sitting in my room, bro.
Neither am I.